Welcome back. You're watching the 80 Money Show with me, Kavita Thapliyal. Now, 2022 has been a mixed bag for Indian equity markets. While the benchmarks have hit record levels recently, overall the markets have been significantly volatile throughout the year. So, where exactly do fund managers are putting their money to make the wealth that you need? What are the sectors they are banking on to beat the market volatility? To answer all of these questions and also to answer our viewer queries, we have on board Pankaj Mathpal, MD, Optima Money Managers. Pankaj, good evening and welcome to the show. Now, before I get into this discussion with you as to where the fund managers are banking on, I have a caller, a viewer on our phone line who is Vishwanath K. Kota. Vishwanath, hi, good evening. How are you doing?
Fine, madam. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. So I can see you have invested in UTI FlexiCap and you also have a direct equity portfolio. All right, and that's really commendable. I mean, you've constructed this portfolio, the direct equity portfolio post-COVID, and you are somewhere around 20 lakhs over there. So congratulations. I can see the planning must have been really well. So, but we are going to answer the query that you have for UTI FlexiCap, and you are not happy with the performance, right?
Yeah, when compared to other fund houses' performances.
But then you've been with the fund since how long?
Yeah, from last 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
Okay. So...
CAGR is almost 14.5%.
Right.
Which was almost up to 16 plus before the market started correcting.
Yeah. So tell us something, what are the other funds that you have in your portfolio? Because we need to know that you really need a FlexiCap in your portfolio.
Yeah, I have a 2 small cap.
You have 2 small cap.
Nippon small cap.
Okay.
Nippon and the Quant small cap I have. And I have a PGIM mid cap fund. And I have a thematic fund, Tata Digital.
Okay.
And also I have a 5,000 SIP into Nifty Bs.
Okay. All right. So you are very well covered.
My main concern is that this is my largest fund, and it is underperforming. And it is pulling down the performance of the entire portfolio.
Got it. So Pankaj, now we know the portfolio mix. Now he has 2 small caps. He has 1 mid cap, 1 thematic, and 1 index fund. Now, do you really think he needs a flexi cap or he can skip it?
Yeah. Kavita, good evening. And as far as question is concerned, I'll say when you have got already 15% around CAGR, XRR you said, so it means fund has performed well and you are satisfied in long term. But last 1 year, definitely I understand that scheme could not perform well and could not beat even its benchmark. But the reason was that scheme had large exposure in IT sector and healthcare. And we know that these sector could not outperform the broader market. But it will happen with every fund. See, in a short duration time, sometime one fund will perform and sometime another one will do better. But because you have been investing for long and you have already accumulated a large amount here, my suggestion that is not because the fund could not perform in last 1 year, but because you already have a large amount in this scheme. So for the purpose of diversification, I'll suggest if you want to have another FlexiCap fund, because you said you invest in Nifty 50. So already you have large cap fund in your portfolio. You have a small cap fund. You also have a IT sector sectoral fund. So you should have one FlexiCap fund, which will give you exposure across the market caps. But you can change scheme. You can have either ICICI Prudential FlexiCap or Quant FlexiCap fund. So the fund which you have accumulated, you can hold it. You can stay invested. But the future SIP can be diverted to the schemes which I suggested you.
All right, Vishwanath, anything else you want to ask Pankaj? Okay, I don't think we have him on the call, but I just hope that he is noted. Yeah, Vishwanath, can you hear me? Do you want to ask?
Can I continue my question?
Yeah, please.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, are you suggesting me to keep the park the whatever investment I had done so far in UTA, and the next whatever SIP should I change to other flexi cap?
Exactly, because the portfolio, if you look at it, it is really good, and in coming days you will find better performance. But only thing, because you have already accumulated a large amount here, so for the purpose of diversification, I'm suggesting that future SIPs can be diverted to other schemes.
All right, and those fund names are flashing on the screen. Vishwanath, if you've not been able to note this down, you can go on this show where we download this on our channel's YouTube. So maybe over there you can watch the show and get the names of the fund once again. Thank you so much for asking your query today, Vishwanath. And now we move on to our topic where Pankaj, you're discussing about how the fund managers are trying to beat the volatility, what kind of sectors they're actually banking on. And I can see you have a list ready for us. And banking sector, it seems to be the fund manager's favorite these days.
Exactly, Kavita. If you see, in almost all funds, you will find that banking sector is at top. The reason is that banking as a sector is the backbone of economy. And second thing, in last few years, banks have cleaned up their balance sheets. That is another reason. And credit demand is growing. So, and this digitization, that is helping banks to grow their balance sheet. So considering these all facts, and also the valuations are attractive. So with these all things, I'll say that banks, all the fund managers, they are quite positive and bullish on the banking sector. And especially if you talk about the public sector banks, that is more promising.
But then Pankaj, do we also see a revival in the large cap funds, because majority of these large cap funds have a lot of exposure allocation to banking stocks? So do you think the story will change now for large cap funds, active large cap funds?
Definitely. In coming days, you will find much better. The story will reverse, as you said. I expect that.
All right. So the next sector that you've picked up is auto.
Yes. The reason is that you'll agree with me that last few years, because of COVID-19 and shortage of semiconductor, and there was a fall in demand. But Indian demography and the demand in rural as well as in urban areas for the two-wheeler as well as a passenger vehicle is growing. So considering that fact, there is a lot of demand for this sector. And if you see, again, I'll say valuation-wise, still there is much scope. So fund managers are bullish on this sector as well.
So Pankaj, now one thing to note is a lot of investors have a core portfolio made for them, but they also have sector-specific funds. Now, if you have maybe a well-diversified portfolio, do you now need a thematic fund, like maybe say a banking fund, just because you're seeing a rally now and at least 2 to 3 quarters now looks strong for this sector. What if someone really has a banking fund in their portfolio? So does that really make sense? Will they increase their returns and their profits and the overall return on the portfolio?
Exactly, Kavita. Let's see what happens. You should make one core and satellite portfolio. In a core portfolio, you should have well-diversified funds which you hold for long time. But in your satellite portfolio, you can have some sectoral funds, or anytime you feel that in particular market cap, you expect better returns, you can have that. So when we talk about this banking sector, it's a sectoral fund where your investment will be in banking sector. But as I said, this transportation and automobile, that can be a theme. So at this moment, I'm expecting in both, in banking sector as well, means you can have a additional exposure, means you should not disturb your core portfolio. You should have your investment in diversified funds, but at the same time, for like you said, next 3-4 months, we are expecting better returns from the banking sector. So say, for example, for next 1 year, if you want to invest in a banking sector fund, that can be a good choice, but you should know your exit time as well, because any sector will not perform consistently for long period. For that, you need diversified funds. But whenever you feel that one sector can outperform the broader market, you can have some exposure, additional exposure in that. So banking sector is one. And another one, as I said, that auto and transportation is a theme, and some funds are available in this theme. You can consider that theme as well.
All right, so that's a quick check on what's happening on the fund management side. But then we have Anshuman, our next caller online, our viewer on call. Anshuman, hi, good evening. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sending us your query. What exactly do you do professionally, Anshuman? Can we know?
I work in media management field.
Sure.
So I
Okay.
work for a foreign company.
Interesting. I can see that you have already made a portfolio for yourself, and you have few goals after 15 years, right? What's the corpus that you want to accumulate?
I do not have any specific purpose in mind. So I'm saving basically how much ever I can.
Okay.
And I do not have any goal-based investment plan. I just have one portfolio where I maintain and make it for wealth creation.
That's very nice, you know. This coming from someone who's just 26-year-old is very encouraging. Tell me one thing, this is your first time investment portfolio, or you've invested earlier somewhere else also? Like you've tried your hands in crypto and direct equity. Do you do all of that also?
I did for a while crypto, I did, but that was just for the side. It was booming, sort of like that. I'm
Okay.
mainly into equities.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
All
yeah.
right.
I do not do direct equities.
Okay.
Apart from that, I have invested in FANG plus ETF.
Sure.
That's about it.
Yeah. All right. So I can see you have Parag Parikh Tax Saver, you have Mira Asset Mid Cap, Quant Small Cap, Kotak Nasdaq, you have Mirai FANG plus ETF also. And you want to increase your SIP amount to 35,000 also, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to our expert, Pankaj.
Yes.
The fund mix looks good. What do you have
Yeah,
to say?
definitely, Kavita. Anshuman has a good portfolio. He has mid cap, small cap, international funds, and also one tax saver. Though you do not have a large cap fund, but because this Parag Parikh tax saver fund has major exposure in large cap, so through that fund you have exposure to large cap stocks. So this is a good thing. As you want to increase your SIP amount, I'll say that do not add to this tax saver, because ultimately the objective of investing in a tax saver fund is claiming deduction under section 80C. So if that limit is already exhausted, you don't need to add to this. But to your this mid cap fund, Mirai Asset Mid Cap, and Quant Small Cap Fund, you can add amount to this. And also about international funds, I'll say you have two funds. One is that Nasdaq 100. That is good. You should continue your SIP in that. You should definitely invest more in that. But Mirai Asset FANG Plus, this is one thematic fund which invests in technology company. So once you have a diversified international equity fund, I don't think that you have another you have need to add or invest in this thematic international fund. So you can even cancel your SIP in that if you want, stop your investment, but increase in mid cap and small cap.
And in due course of time, Pankaj, if he wants to increase his investment amount, do you think one more fund can be added? Is there place for adding more funds, or that's not needed?
Kavita, no, it's not required, because he has mid cap, he has small cap, and international, this Nasdaq 100. I expect more volatility in this fund in coming days, because US economy, you understand that we can expect volatility. But in long term, because you are 26 only and you want to hold for long term, I'll suggest that in that fund also you can increase some amount. But still, if you want to add, that will be a flexi cap fund. If you want to add one more fund, then add one flexi cap. ICICI Prudential Flexi Cap Fund or Quant Flexi Cap Fund can be a good choice.
Anshuman, is there anything else you want to ask Pankaj?
No, that's all.
Thank you so much for sending us your query. All the best. We move on, and we will take Arasu's question. And Arasu wants to build a personal portfolio of 5 lakh rupees and wants to know what kind of funds can be a part of this portfolio. And also, I think he would need help with the investment amount.
Kavita, this question is not complete, truly
Yeah,
speaking,
which is
because
why we wanted Arasu actually on phone call. We are trying to get in touch with Arasu, but then till the time we get the viewer on call, whatever information we have, I know it's
correct.
really not enough. But what kind of a monthly investment are we looking at?
Yeah. See, Kavita, I'll tell you, there are so many categories, and in those categories also there are different classification of funds. So, majorly for any investor, based on the objective of investment, risk appetite of investor, and investment horizon, we can decide some schemes. But assuming that he wants to invest for a long duration, I'll suggest some equity fund. He should have this allocation, and because he wants to invest 5 lakh rupees, still considering that we can expect some volatility, I'll suggest that he should invest this money in staggered manner. Do not invest 5 lakh in one lump sum. Rather, invest that money in next 2-3 months. You can take help of STP, means systematic transfer plan, where you invest the amount first in some liquid funds or low risk debt funds. From there, systematically transfer to the targeted scheme, or means you can invest in staggered manner on your own. Second thing, as far as schemes are concerned, as I said, I'm assuming that you want to invest for long term. So ICICI Prudential Flexi Cap Fund, you should consider. Canara Rubico Emerging Equities Fund, which is a large and mid cap fund that you should consider in your portfolio. Quant Active Fund, this is a multi cap fund, and Motilal Oswal Mid Cap Fund. So I'm suggesting you well diversified funds, considering that your investment horizon is minimum 5 years.
All right, so we really don't have more details to help Arasu with his query, but then whatever you've suggested, I hope he gets to know. And also, what's the time duration are we talking about?
Minimum 5 years. See, I
Minimum
did not
5 years.
suggest him a small cap fund because I didn't know that I don't know how long he want to stay invested.
Sure.
But still, any investor who plans to invest in equity mutual funds, my suggestion that minimum investment horizon should be 5 years. So considering that he wants to invest for minimum 5 years, I suggested some diversified fund. He will have exposure to small cap as well, but I'm not recommending any pure small cap fund. So I suggested him a large and mid cap fund. I recommended a mid cap fund, a flexi cap fund. So he has a well diversified if he follows this suggestion.
All right, we will move on to our next question, which is from Venkat, and the kind of funds he has in his portfolio, I'll just read out. He has Axis Midcap, Franklin Focused, Mirror Asset Emerging Equity, Mirror Asset Focused Fund, Nippon Small Cap, SBI Small Cap, SBI Blue Chip, SBI Focused, and Parag Parikh Flexi Cap. Okay, and he says that he has stopped certain SIPs. He's talking about selling Franklin Small Cap, DSP Mid Cap, and Motilal Oswal. I'm not aware of the fund. That's just an AMC name that's with me. And he says that he has consolidated all the amount in Nifty 50. Now, he wants us to review the portfolio that he has, and that's the only, I think that's the only detail that we have. I don't know whether these SIPs are regular or these are lump sum that he's put in. But how can we help him with whatever information we have right now?
Kavita, still the name what he has mentioned here, he has too many schemes in his portfolio and there is a duplicacy.
Yeah.
Second thing, as he wants to invest in Nifty 50, as we know that Nifty 50 consists of the top 50 companies, large cap companies, and he has actively managed fund in his portfolio, and those schemes also have exposure to those companies which are a part of Nifty 50. So if he has this portfolio, I don't think that he needs to add Nifty 50 to his portfolio, truly speaking. And in his existing portfolio, I'll say that he should have only 4 schemes out of this. One can be Mirror Asset Emerging Equity Fund, which is a well-performing fund and it has exposure to large and mid cap. So that can be one fund. Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund, it is a well-diversified fund and also has exposure to international stocks. So that can
I will just stop
be good
you
fund.
because I have Venkat on phone line. Venkat, hi, good evening. How are you? We were just answering your query. Quickly, I just want to know, are these the SIP amounts which are mentioned in your funds?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
The nine funds that you've given a list of, are these the SIP amounts which is going every month, or it's a lump sum investment?
It's an SIP amount that's going every month.
All right, in all these 9 funds, right?
Yes.
Okay, and which fund of Motilal Oswal have you stopped?
I've already stopped the Motilal as well. I mean, if you just look into my investment,
Which fund?
The sheet that I've sent, it was Motilal Focus 25.
Okay, Focus 25. All right. Okay, so Pankaj, do you mind repeating the answer from the beginning where you told him that Nifty 50 was not needed?
Definitely, Kavita. Venkat, see, I told earlier as well. See, you have exposure to large cap already. So I don't think that you should add Nifty 50 fund to your portfolio. One reason is that because you have too many funds in your portfolio, and these funds have exposure to those stocks which are part of Nifty 50. So you can skip Nifty 50, and out of your existing portfolio, as I said that you have too many schemes and there is duplicacy, I suggest you should have only 4 funds in your portfolio. One is Mirae Asset Emerging Blue Chip Fund, which is a large and mid cap fund. You should have investment, you continue. Then Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund. It is a good, well diversified flexi cap with exposure to international stocks. So you should have this in your portfolio. Axis Mid Cap Fund, you can continue, and Nippon India Small Cap Fund. So my suggestion is that you should have only 4 schemes. Other schemes you can exit now or anytime whenever you feel like, but at least stop SIPs in those schemes.
All right, Venkat, I'm actually done with my time, but quickly, do you want to ask anything else?
I just wanted to ask you, sir, the only question was that in the Mirae Asset Emerging Fund, the cap is 50,000 only. I just wanted to know what percentage you want me to keep in the other 3 funds. I mean, this will be quite less. 50,000 is the maximum that I can invest, that too from 2 different.
Right, Pankaj?
My wife as well as mine.
Yeah. In that case, you have, see, Mirae Asset Focused. You can invest in that.
All right, so that will be all, Venkat. Thank you so much for sending us your query, and all the best with your investments. And that's a wrap. Pankaj, thank you so much for being on the show and helping our viewers with their financial plans. And before I wind up, for the viewers, I will leave you with our WhatsApp number and email ID. This is the place where you can directly get in touch with us and send us your financial portfolio queries if you have any, and we will do your live financial planning with our experts on it. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.